So that's the fight or flight. Oxygen breaks things down. When you leave something out, a piece of fruit, what happens to that fruit? Changes color. What happens to metal? Rust. Okay, oxygen produces what's called free radicals. We need them. Every time there's a chemical reaction in your body, free radicals are produced. Okay, it's an oxygen that's unpaired. See, this is paired, O2. It has a complete shell, electron shell. But when something needs another thing to be complete, what oxygen does is it starts going for different tissues in your body. It starts breaking down. That's why people end up, osteoporosis, breakdown, anything like that. That's oxygen. Can you see where we back up then and do fight or flight? But if you go into the, when people get really afraid, they're going in with a problem because now their tests are positive. They have a mitral valve prolapse, something wrong with their heart. They have diabetes, insulin resistance. Can you see where if they backed up and paid attention to, how long was I in this? My blood pressure, what's going to happen to insulin if blood sugar is constantly up? What's going to happen to your body? If you constantly have high blood sugar in your body, insulin gets into the picture. Now because insulin's job, insulin lowers blood sugar, okay? Insulin lowers blood sugar. If you stay in this, insulin has to constantly be produced. Now, your cell receptors are not going to respond. It fatigues the cell receptors. So what happens is that if there's too much insulin in the body because there's too much blood sugar, now cholesterol has to get in to repair. Cholesterol is part of every cell membrane in your body. It has to come in now to repair the damage that insulin did. But what caused the damage to begin with? But if you come in and you show up with diabetes, I'm going to give you some kind of medication. Is there ever going to be backtracking and see what you're doing in your life? What is your daily stress like? How many, I'll say practitioners across the board, because I know just as many chiropractors as medical doctors are not going to listen to their patient and say, what's going on in your life? Do you have support? Do you have a support system? Do you have someone that you can talk to? There's so many things that you can say. Go back to the beginning, and that's getting to know. That's when you stop. I'm in that traffic jam. Why am I getting all upset? Seriously, I think I've gone 3 months now without flipping anybody off on the road. Because it's like, I want that internal peace. Because look I'm 96 already and you would never even know that. Because I'm not tearing down, I'm building up. We're going to have the building and breaking down, but I'm going to stay in building up. I'm going to live till 120. I might get a little slow about 106, but I'm going. I am 47 and I feel the best that I've ever felt in my life. So now let's look at that resting and digesting, because this is the parasympathetic system. This is in your neck, the vagus nerve. You look at your diagram, it's called a wandering nerve because it comes off the brain stem right at the base of your neck, the vagus nerve. And this controls your digestion, your defecation, pooping, your urination. I'm going to give you made-up letters, a made-up name, so that you can remember these actions. Parasympathetic nervous system is known as the resting and digesting. It's known as that for a reason. But the made-up word is SLUD. And what it does is salivation, so the ability to produce saliva, first part of digestion. Lacrimation, that's tears. Urination. Defecation. And digestion. Isn't that beautiful? That's parasympathetic nervous system. Resting and digesting. Vagus nerve. So when someone gets dizzy, they're having a vasovagal response. Feel like they're going to faint. Fainting is a vasovagal response. We call it just parasympathetic vagus nerve, but it's the vasovagal. That's what medical doctors call it. And what it is like when this is affected, your parasympathetic, This is another very important thing to know. When you're in sympathetic mode, fight or flight, this shuts down. This shuts down. It cannot function. That's why you have 80 million people suffering from, gastroesophageal disease and reflux esophagitis, heartburn, okay? Because of this very thing. What do you see people doing? They're eating and they're on the go. If you're eating and you're on the go and you're trying to navigate traffic, do you think you're digesting that McDonald's burger you're putting in your body? Well, for one, you can't digest it. I think its shelf life is forever. Or like Velveeta cheese.
Yeah.
I have a patient that I still cannot get off Velveeta cheese. So, saliva. The thing that's really, so you're chewing your food, saliva actually gives your other parts of your intestines messages to start working. It's very important. And it's actually, saliva gets rid of toxins in your body. There's more than meets the eye there. But the thing to emphasize is that when you're in that fight or flight, these activities are shutting down. And then there's problems. Now you have rotting food in your gut because you're trying to make that appointment because you've rammed everything in your schedule and you're running and you're eating and now you're not digesting the food and then later you're like, you're burping and you're like, okay, let's take that Tums. Let's put a piece of chalk in our gut that can't digest it. But it has calcium. It's calcium carbonate. It's like limestone. It's like go lick the side of a cave because you're not going to be freaking digesting that shit. All right? So, I'm telling you. I love that. But it has calcium. Calcium carbonate is chalk. Why don't you just suck on a piece of chalk? You can just give them a piece of chalk. Here, chew on the chalk.
It's funny you say because every time my sister, your problem, I said, here, either take some vinegar, apple cider vinegar, or here, take some Tums, and it just comes down every time. So yeah.
Yeah. Now once you put that Tums, introduce that, now you're not absorbing the calcium because your stomach needs to be acid in order to break down your protein. See, and Western medicine knows this. They know Prilosec is not working. Prilosec, the purple pill, Prevacid, Tums, all those things. Because now if you're not getting the calcium, what do you think is going to happen to you in time? You're not absorbing your minerals. You're not getting zinc. You're not getting the B vitamins. Now you're going to have bone loss. Now you're having hormone imbalances. Now you're having leaky gut because that protein undigested in your gut that you haven't digested because you're in fight or flight is going to find a way out of your stomach. And it rips through, it will go down, it actually rips through your intestinal lining. And then there's leakage. We're not supposed to have anything leak out that's inside our gut. So now, this is the rise of autoimmune diseases. When things get through that aren't supposed to get through, now all of a sudden you have rheumatoid arthritis. Now you have MS, multiple sclerosis. These things, they do have causes. Most diseases happen in the gut. It's where most of your immune system occurs is in the gut. Everything occurs here in the gut. It's amazing. So it's like, be kind to your gut. Is this going to give me energy or is this not? Is this going to deplete my energy or is it going to give me energy? Okay? So now say, everyone's in fight or flight right now. So you're not going to digest your food. You don't have saliva going. Dry mouth. When they have dry mouth when they're nervous. You ever get that? Like before, sometimes, now I'm better, but when I've done lectures and stuff, it's like you can't get enough to drink. That's because you're in that fight or flight and you're not, that's going to shut down. You're not producing saliva. So you're not, and that's the start of digestion. Even before that, digestion starts in your brain because you have to be in the resting, digesting place in order to digest your food. So digestion starts in the brain. Get in a place where you're sitting down, eating. I refuse to have any conversations with anybody about anything that's going to give me stress when I'm eating my meal. Don't talk to me about the IRS. Don't talk to me about nuclear warfare. I just want to eat my freaking meal. So, all right. So we're in fight or flight. Tears, lacrimation is tears. Our eyes are tearing.